What's up, everybody? It has been an additional 24 hours after that major liquidation event that totally reset the market. And now we can see the prices, we shot all the way back up here. And now we're starting to come down a little bit. Exactly what we talked about yesterday, where, just because you go up doesn't mean you're just going to keep going up. A lot of times you go up, you have to come back down and hit the lows here. So we know what it is now, which is an expanded flat, where in this case it was a running flat. This is an expanded flat. The difference is an expanded flat actually takes out this liquidity down here. So it's a much more volatile move, and it's a much more basically the market makers, the smart money, whatever you want to call it. Basically, they have $10 million, for example. You can't just buy here or here or here or here or here. You have to wait. Either you have to break the liquidity up here, or you have to break the liquidity down here, right? Because you're stuck in this range, right? So if you can see right here, we poked right through it, and that's when it got bought up almost immediately, right? So it was a liquidity grab, basically. So we had a big liquidity grab. We shot back up, and it's probably going to flag out in here, create distance, get away from the scene of the crime, because that was a bloody massacre, right? Too bad it didn't happen on Valentine's. That was a, what is it? What do they call that? A Valentine bloody massacre or something? Some terminology. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much kind of what I'm thinking here, similar to what happened there. So, and then from there, we want to continue moving up, right? So let's take a look at XRP, and let's look at this objectively, right? Again, this is an A, B, C, or even a WXY. That looks like 3, this looks like 3, and this looks like 3. Yeah, so it's a WXY. And we shot up basically a whole dollar from here to the top. That's $1. That's insanity, right? Remember back in the day when XRP was 50, 60 cents. Remember this range that we've been in for the longest time? Remember this? I'm going to have to extend that out. We've been, we had this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we had 3 down, right? And then we came up, and then we had another 3 up, and then another 3 down. So 3 up or 3 down, 3 up, 3 back down, go. So WXY, same kind of move. So you had a 1 and a 2, created a little bit of a base here, and then flew to the upside. But remember, we were trending at 50, or ranging between 50 and 60 cents. Okay, so the move that we just experienced now was actually a whole dollar, right? So that move alone was twice as big as anything in here, which is pretty impressive, right? Just wanted to point that out. Okay, so let's look at the small time frames and let's see what exactly took place. Let's look at the 30-minute. Well, it looks a little bearish because you have 3 up, right? And what did I say yesterday? We're probably going to get 3 back down. Now, what we don't want to see is 5. If this turns into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we get a 3-wave pullback, it's not going to look good. It looks like it's going to crash, okay? So luckily, we're going to know that before that happens. So what we want to see here, I mean, I really would like this to be 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, but this third wave is the shortest, which is a no-no. The third wave cannot be the shortest wave, okay? So what's probably happening here is this is a B wave, so A, B, C, right? So I like to break up big things like this. So for example, let's get rid of that. We have the wick at the bottom, and then we need, actually, let me reset it right there. Let's just use some regular lines. So we have the wick at the bottom, and then we have the base of the bottom of the candle, of the close. Okay, and then we have this point over here, right? And then you have this middle point in here. So think about it like this. This range right here is the point where we want to hold, right? This is our range. All right. Anything above it is bullish. Anything in the middle is neutral. Anything in here is getting very nerve-wracking. So, yeah. So we want to see, a move down into here. Maybe we can retest this area because that area at 225 seems to be very critical. So you have a point there. So this is resistance. We broke out, three-way pullback. We flipped it as support. We shot up. And then now let's come back down and we can retest this as support. If not, then we break down the next one and test that as support. If not that, then we test this one as support. But we really want to hold between 208 and 245. All right, so those are our levels that we need to look at. So let's go and scout the market and see every time we have these big liquidations, what happens following that move. And the first one you got to look at is the king, which is Mr. Bitcoin. Let's look at Bitcoin here. Is that my Bitstamp chart? Yes, it is. So let's start at the small time frames. Let's get it out of the way. Same thing, right? You got 1, 2, 3, and then now it looks like we're probably going to get 3 down. Tag this area. Maybe we get 3 back up. Maybe we get 3 back down. Maybe a little liquidity grab, and then just kind of range, build a base, right? That's what I've been saying. The theme of this week is base building, right? So, we had a very complicated range, but at the same time, if you look at it from the bottom, look at it from the top, it's not too complicated, especially when you have 3 waves, right? Like this move, when we shot up here, obviously you knew there's going to be resistance. Now we have a 3-wave pullback. Obviously, there's going to be some support, hopefully, which turned out to be the case. And then you get an sort of a little bit of an impulse. Now you kind of want to flag out in here, right? And then you kind of want to round out and get back into these retracement levels. If we get rejected here, then it could be like 3 down, 3 up, and then 3 back down, right? 3, 3, 3. It's always threes, right? The market moves in threes and 5s and 3s. So build a little bit of a base and then continue higher, right? If the bear market is here, then you're going to see it kind of maybe hit the high and then get violently rejected. So we hit here, rejection. We get here, rejection. Get here, rejection. That's it, It's pretty much over. And then you would come back into a retrace. So you'd get an alt season here and a little alt season there, but it's really, you just don't have enough time. And most of the altcoins are so far away from even approaching their retracement levels. Like, you know what I mean? So that there's 2 different markets going on. You have like the Bitcoins and which is well into price discovery. Then you have like XRP and a couple other ones that are sort of at the verge of price discovery. And then you have things like Filecoin and Matic and Theta and just AVAX, Aave, Near. They're kind of at their lower spots. Maybe not Aave, and then you have your links, right, which are kind of in the middle, right? So basically, you have some coins up here like XRP. You have some coins here like ADA, Link, HBAR, kind of like over here. Then you have the other ones like Theta that are down here, and then you have like the Filecoins and the Matics that are down here. So they're all at different levels So it's like, okay, well, how do these play out, right? Well, we don't know, right? We have to see how it plays out, but essentially they're still correlated to some aspect, right? So let's go to Bitcoin and let's look at, this was our massive liquidation that happened over here, and that was also bigger than FTX. So let's go to the 30-minute chart and let's go back and observe what happened there. So you could see here's another move that happened right here. Wow, man, these freaking spammers. Okay, I forgot to turn my phone on airplane mode when I record. Okay, so we're good now. All right. So you could see what happened here. We had a big flush, right? And then we came all the way back up. We had 3 waves up, and look what happened. We had 3 waves back down, right? So we had 3 waves up, 3 waves back down. And then what happened? And then we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we had 3 up, 3 down, 5 up. And that's exactly what I think is going to happen for some of these coins here. So let's go back. Where's it at? It's kind of hard to know. I'm going to have to go zoom out a little bit here. Okay, and then I'm going to zoom back in. Okay, so here we go. So you could see this is what happened. And it all started with what? Bottlenecking. You came up, hit the high, bottleneck, and then you flushed the low. And then what happened is you came up, you pulled back, you hit the high. But I like the way, see, this is where it is really interesting. And this is what I want to see. So instead, let me see if I have another example really quick. I don't think so. Okay, never mind. So instead of it, you have a big move down, right? And then you shoot up, what did I say? 3 waves all the way back down. So instead of doing that, what you're going to see, for Bitcoin right here is instead of it coming all the way down, you basically cock back, right? So like, look at that beautiful range, beautiful oscillation. So you have 3 up, you have nice oscillation in here, then you kind of build a base, right? And then what happens after that? I think we ended up later on, right, coming up in 3 and then coming down in 3. So it didn't really matter at the end of the day because eventually it did come back. And where did it come back to? It came back basically down to the base of the candle there. So all the way back down to the low. So you shoot all the way up and then you can come all the way back down quickly, or it can take a long time and then eventually, you hit that level. Or you can have another one. So here's a really good example of what happened to Bitcoin. This is a perfect example of an expanded flat. So you can see we came up here, A, B, C, right there. Same thing here. A, or we have this impulse, we have a W, X, and a Y. So there's the same exact expanded flat right there for, I think that's a good screenshot worthy poll. So the big question is, when we have this major expanded flat, look how fast it recovered. I mean, it instantly went up and there was no flagging out. There was nothing. It was just complete bonkers, right? So let's expand that. And you can see, there we are, right? We basically just kind of went up a little bit, but we didn't flag out at all. So if that's the case, then if we see something like that with XRP, it just happened too fast though. Like you can see, this kind of gradually went down and then it had a little bit of a flush. This is just taking forever. It had a very fast flush and then a very quick recovery. Notice back over here, we stayed down here for a little while. We had let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 12-hour candles that were down at the low. That was the difference, right? So you had a lot of accumulation. This, you were just wicking and then coming right back. So but that is an example nonetheless, right? And then you also get big capitulations like this where you come down, you come up, and then you actually take out the low, getting bullish divergence. But I don't think that's what's happening at all. So here's another expanded flat. That what happened to Bitcoin here. And this is kind of what I'm thinking. You have this A, B, C. Expanded flat, you shoot up in 5, and then you flag out. That's exactly what we want to see for XRP, right? So there's your expanded flat right there. ABC, ABC, or WXY. But notice again, we spent 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 candles, 12-hour candles down there. So instead of it just coming down, we played around here for a while and then it shot up versus coming down, wicking, shooting right back up almost instantly, right? So there wasn't enough pain because we had 7 12-hour candles down here. That was a lot of pain, right? So people had to experience that pain for 7 times 12, right? Which meant people felt the burn longer versus this. It was kind of like, ripping the Band-Aid off it, you know what I mean? So I don't know. I think, how this came up and then we flagged out, that's kind of what we want to see, but we probably have to revisit the lows a little bit and then have a much bigger flag like this, something like that, and then breakout, right? Hopefully it happens fast. We'll see. I hope this is not financial advice. Maybe it won't even happen at all. Maybe the bear market is here and that's it, right? I don't think so. Based off the evidence, I don't think that's the case at all. But you can kind of see, if I take a bars pattern right over here. So the big question is, are we doing something like this, right? Where we have this, it's called 3 drives to the high. 1, 2, 3. And then you fail each time, and then you basically pretty much capitulate there. So you can kind of see in here, right, how it played around. So if that's the case, we should come up and hit the high one more time. And then we need to have XRP somehow during these 2 moments explode to the upside as much as possible, if that's what's happening here, which I think there's a good possibility that could be the case. So, yeah, I mean, maybe one more wave, one more very, very strong, intense wave. We'll see. So anyways, before coming down and basically starting the bear market. But then you still need a retracement. And then during that retracement, maybe the other coins that didn't get to catch up, like Theta and the rest, right? Maybe they, have a little bit of a retracement, a little bit more of a retracement, a big pullback, but nothing like this before going on to having a much bigger move while Bitcoin's in distribution. Because remember, Bitcoin dominance should be falling with Bitcoin as alts go up. That's usually what happens. So if we go back over here, you can see exactly when Theta started to explode to the upside. And that was actually in this wave here. Well, that wave was already passed. You know what I mean? So now we're working with this wave here, and that should be almost the end of it, right? So that's why I don't know. It's definitely different, but I will say, however, if we compare both of them side by side, let's get rid of that. You can see that theta had 3 waves down, right? Here's your sell side of the curve, the buy side of the curve, and then you have this big 3-way pullback. So you have this move up, 3-way pullback. It came all the way back down to home base. This is your base, this is your structure. This is why we build these structures in the first place, because if theta did not build this structure, then it would have just sliced right through it because there's nothing supporting it, right? Think of it like a big trampoline, you know what I mean? So now the expectation is it to go back into a retracement up here. We need to see it go back up. Now we really want to see it go up in 5 and then flag out and then continue, and then you have yourself a cup and a handle, right? Something like that. And we'll get into theta in a minute, but yeah. So that's pretty much it. Is there any other examples? If we look at C19, here's what happened with C19, and if we compare that to something like Bitcoin or XRP here, and let's try to make that right there. There we go. So you can see, you know, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, kind of pull back. Maybe we play around in here a little bit and then hit the high and then sort of flag out in there. I mean, that's one way to also look at it. So there's a lot of different ways. I mean, for example, you could basically just make a base and then go. You can make some kind of ascending triangle and then go. You can make an inverse head and shoulders. You can do something like this where you go up in 3 and then you flag out. You go up in 3 and then flag out. Right at the highs, then pop the high, back test it, then go. Same thing what happened over here. You can see we pop the high, back test it, and then go. Right? So, yeah, we'll see how it all plays out. I have no idea exactly because it's still very early. We have our crash, we have our snap back, and now it's all about what happens after that. What does the structure look like? So we'll see. Anyways, that'll do it for XRP for the meantime. But I will say, if we pull up a retracement here and we come down, now we have a whole new retracement level. See, that's why I don't give targets until we know for sure the bottom is in. Because everybody wants targets. What's the next target? Well, we don't know. You don't have to know the targets right away. Like most people, they got to know before the bull market even starts, which doesn't really make sense, right? If you had a gun, are you more likely to shoot the target from 5 yards away versus 300 yards away? I mean, you know what I mean? So, yeah, so the 1618 comes right at, look at that, 447. That's a very good number. Versus what it was before, it was a lot smaller. It was only 466. Well, not too much smaller. So now we extend that out a little bit more. So you can see we're right in the golden zone now. So this is going to be the big thing, is getting through these retracement levels, right? You can see we're in between the 50 and the 618. That's good. That's what you want. And then also, once we escape these retracement levels, because I think the way it's going to go is we're going to flag out in here, maybe pop the high, maybe kind of go sideways a little bit, and then work your way out, right? Something like that. We'll see. Now, if we start breaking this low, then it's over pretty much, right? So at least we know that. All right, let's look at Theta. Now, when you compare that to Theta, Theta had just a little tiny little guy here. It's not that big. It still went up a good amount. I mean, what did it do? It still went up almost 40%, which is really good, right? But it's going to need more work. So this reminds me, of Bitcoin back over here. You can see right here. Okay, here we go. I wish I could make it a little bit bigger. Let's zoom out a little bit more. Okay, there we go. So you can see we have this descending triangle. Same thing over here, descending triangle, goes way back. We drop down, right? And then it actually comes back and then it takes the low. So we could come up and then take the low, right? But if we create bullish divergence, come up here, cock back, come up here, cock back, and then float up, and then float up. I mean, that's definitely also a possibility. So Theta can break the low, XRP cannot break the low, basically. And I know that's weird, but that's just kind of the way I think here. So let's see if I could zoom out a little bit more. Yeah, so essentially that's what we're looking at, right? So we want to develop a base down in here. So if we could develop this base in here and then shoot up and then shoot up and then flag out back over here, right? Like we did with Bitcoin, and then eventually go, right? So it's gonna take a lot of work, a lot of time. Not as much as it did back in the day, because that was the whole cycle itself, right? But you had a rise, crash, retrace, reaccumulation. You went sideways, and then you blasted off. So if we compare that to Theta, we could see like a rise, crash, right? Maybe we get a retrace, come down into reaccumulation, go sideways, and then blast off, hopefully before summer. So there you go. So not too much has changed from yesterday's video, except we have a little bit more structure here. So I see 3, and then it looks like we're getting 3 down. So when we get that move down, can we hold in here? If we get the move down. So, we want to hold in here, right? So let's see if that's the case. All right, let's keep looking around and see if we could see anything. Same exact thing with Polygon. Monero. Monero is also looks way better than pretty much all of them because you have 5 waves. Look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So Monero has the right to flag out. I'm giving it permission to flag out. Whereas Theta needs another wave, and then, you want 5 before you flag. If you get 3 up and 3 down, then you want 5 up, and then you want to flag after that. But then you only have 3. So once you flag, you need 4, and then that turns into a diag. But then you need a flag out again for the second wave. See how complicated it is? But it actually really isn't. The more you watch, the more you listen, the more you'll learn, right? I back in the day in 2018, I started out watching Tone Vase. He still has his channel today. You can go watch him, right? He teaches TD sequential, things like that. Or now he uses the MRI, which is called Momentum Reversal Indicator. Whereas back in the day, it was Tom DeMark. So you can see here, let's see, we haven't even looked at the 9s yet. So you can see we have a 9 sell. Actually, I don't like that. I got to go to the 4-hour. We don't have it. Oh, look at that. So we came down. I keep forgetting to show my sequentials on the videos, but I don't even really look at them anymore, to be honest, because we range. I only look at it when we're trending. When we're stuck in a range, I don't really look because it's, But you could see here, we came all the way down. We had a 9 buy, right? We had a 9 buy, and I liked how it went red, green, red, green. It flipped back and forth at the bottom, creating a base with a 9 buy. That was a very good buy signal. And then what happened? We shot up. So now we're probably flagging out. So if you want this indicator, you got to type in trend reversal predictor, because my indicator is called Tom DeMark Sequential. But since it's been copyrighted infringement, I think I've been grandfathered in. But the rest of everybody else, you know, it's the same indicator. It's just formatted differently. Same. The 9s should be exactly where the 9s are. So anyways, let's see here. Let's go to the daily. See, there's no point in me looking at the daily because they're constantly flipping back and forth because we're ranging. Versus if you go back in time, right, and you look at the trend, now you start to see a lot more 9s. For example, the best way to do it is look at like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you had a 9 on the top of wave 1. You had a 9 here, but it wasn't perfected. And then you had a 9 at the top of wave 5. So the way I like to use it is you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And if you can get a 9 at the top of wave 5, that would be a good sell short. If you had the same thing here, if you had a 3-way pullback and then you had a 9 buy, that would be a really good chance to go long, or even 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down, right? So, yeah, that's pretty much it for that. Every now and then I want to share the sequential. So we'll turn that off for now, and we'll look at it later for other charts. Let me know in the comments if you guys want to see more of the TD sequential stuff, because it's very interesting. Basically, what it is it's an exhaustion indicator. It's a momentum indicator. Basically, when the price is exerting itself, and there's something about the number 9. Ask Nikola Tesla. He knows all about the number 9. There's something very interesting about the number 9, and even in the charts, right? So when you get to a 9, it's always interesting. So, but when we look at the daily chart on Monero, I can't tell anything. Where's the liquidation event? Where's the carnage? Where's the mass hysteria? Where's the panic? Where's the free fall? I don't see it anywhere. All I see is lows, higher low, higher low, higher low, higher low, high, higher, high, higher, high. Where's the damage? I don't see it. Like I said, guys, I've been talking to you guys about Monero for a little while now. Ever since we've been in here. I can't quite remember. I want to say back in November is when I really started talking about it. And I've been talking about it ever since because I've been liking the chart. And you can see, I don't like Monero. Like, I think it's kind of silly. You know, it's a privacy coin, whatever. But you can see we're in an ascending triangle here. Okay, and this is coiling up. And eventually we're going to break out. Hopefully we break out to the upside. There's no guarantee, right? But if you look at Monero over the past 3 months, anytime we've had a big dump, Monero has held up pretty strong. Or anytime there's been aggressive selling, like let's put up Theta for a minute. And then just look at the difference in the charts. I'm trying to get it a little bit so we can see. Or actually, I'm just going to do that. You know, you could see one is going down, one is going up. So it's completely deviating. So why is it doing that? Well, again, I've been referencing Monero back over here saying it looks totally different, and I really like the way it looks. And now we're starting to see evidence of that. Now, it's not going to last forever. It might come back down. It might meet back up in the middle here before whatever. So, but yeah, there's definitely more selling when you look at other coins. So, Man, I don't know what else to say except it's very bullish. The reason why is because you built this incredible base, you broke out of it, and you back tested it once, back tested it again. So the only thing that has me concerned bearishly is if this is a flat right here. So we have 3 down. Is this 3 up and this is 3 back down? That would be really good. Or if this is like a W, an X, and now we get a Y. If this whole thing becomes a flat, what if this move up? Because I don't like the way, see how it's going up like this? A lot of times these channels break down and then they go up later on in a flat. But since we had that big liquidation event, we had that big wick that wicked down, wick down, wick down, wick down. So it's telling me buyers are stepping up to the plate while at the same time creating higher highs. So what we need to do now is create a higher high after we flag out. It could take a couple weeks for it to flag out. I don't know. We'll have to see. So those are the two options. Either get up here, kind of flag out a little bit, and then just keep pumping, or if this is going to be a flat and then we continue higher. But I'm not sure why it would do that because it already came down and it wicked below. So in essence, it already played out the flat. Boom, boom, boom. It's a running flat. So it really, to me, looks complete because you also have 3 waves here. If we zoom in a little bit, you can see very clearly the 3 waves, right? So you have boom, boom, boom. So you have 3 there, and then you have 3 there, and then you have 3 there. So honestly, it looks pretty much done. So what I can do is I can get a regression trend right here, and then place it somewhere over here, and then go all the way up, and then turn that off log and see it on linear scale. So there's your trend here. And I can actually adjust this over here and it'll look a little bit different. So you can kind of see where we are in this sort of regression trend. You can see we held it as this is our line in here, right? So what I would do then, because it kind of helps you find the lines, is just draw a line just like that, right there. And then delete, if it'll let me, that regression trend. So that's the line that we want to stay above, right? It's okay if we dip back a little bit below, but we want to really stay above it. So anyways, that's Monero on the small time frames. Again, it looks like 5 to me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So let's see if this can come on down and then come back up and then come back down. And we get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, A, B, C, maybe get back down to here and then continue higher. So what's going to be really interesting is how does the price react this coming Saturday and Sunday? Because we know weekends have been completely vicious. So hopefully, we hold up pretty nicely. But honestly, right now, it looks a little bearish. It looks like it needs to come down, unfortunately. So we'll see. Let's see. All right, let's keep looking around. Litecoin, same thing with Litecoin. You got 3 up only, and this looks like a trap. It looks like it has to come down 3 up, 3 down. Let's come back down to here and then continue higher. It's kind of hard to know exactly, but yeah, that's kind of what it looks like for Litecoin. And we zoom out on Litecoin a little bit. You can see we have a nice 3-wave structure. So we have this little bit of a run up, 3, 3, 3, 3-wave pullback. So we have an impulse, a 3-wave pullback. Now we want to flag out a little bit in here, or even get up here and flag out a little bit, then break out. I mean, everything is still on track. If you have a crash, it's one thing. But if you have a big liquidity grab and then it gets bought up really fast within the 24, 48 hours, then it's okay. Same thing with Link. You got a nice 3-wave pullback, impulse, 3-wave pullback. Let's maybe, another thing too is we might not flag out. Instead, we might build a base in here and then continue higher. So that's going to be one thing to look for. We'll see how that plays out. XLM looks so good, man. Look at that three-wave move. I mean, it's perfect. Look at that. I mean, you couldn't even draw it any better than that. So you have this big impulse and a three-wave pullback. I mean, come on, man. That looks insane. So if we can develop a base here and start to continue higher and then flag out up here a little bit, and then maybe that will be the end of the wave. Now, where's this thing going? Well, what we can do now that we have another low, I haven't done this yet. Let's see what it's going to be. So now that we have an official low, well, I shouldn't say that because what if it's not the low, right? But still, what I can do is, let me see if that's going to work. Okay, I know what to do now. All right, so what we're going to do is, it's so big, I can't even fit it in the frame here. I got to put it back on log scale because it's just so massive. Okay, there we go. So now I can fit it on my chart. So what I'm going to do is take a trend-based fib extension. I'm going to start it from here, and then I'm going to go all the way up, and then I'm going to come all the way back down. All right? And this should give us a pretty accurate target if it plays out. So the 1618 comes all the way at $1.18. That is massive, considering we're only at 34 cents, right? So if we just start from the bottom here and go all the way up to 1618, I mean, you're looking at 300, 400% just on that move alone. And then from where we are right now, approximately, 240% or so. So, yeah. And the bare minimum would be the 1-to-1 extension, which comes in at 83 cents. So that's kind of what we want to see here. So we're looking at this like, and I can move this to right here at the bottom of that start. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. And remember XLM, we were talking about XLM all throughout here. And one of the things I mentioned was how beautiful this three-wave structure was, right? Because look at this. This is the same thing. We had 3 up, right? And then we had 3 down. And then what's happening now? Now what do we expect? 5 up. But we don't have 5. We only have 3. 1, 2, 3. Three-wave pullback for 4, and now let's go up and get 5. That's still my grand thesis. And that 5th wave can go all the way up to the 4.236 extension. And how far away is that from the absolute extension from the whole range? Let's see, the 4.236 comes in at, okay, so it lands right around the 3 here, which is okay. And then you would still have this 4.236 if things got really crazy, which would be coming in at 380 or so. So, and then let's see, the 1618 comes in at 146. Okay, so yeah, it makes sense to me that, what this is, right? And what this is, again, you have a rise, crash, retrace, reaccumulation. You go sideways. You break out, you have a 3-wave massive pullback, and then you go up and you hit that grand finale move, just like exactly what happened over here. Oh my God, it's the same thing. Look at this. You have this big range, right? You break out, you have a 3-wave pullback, and then you go on and hit that final move. 1, 2, little 1, little 2, big 3, big 4, big 5. Not the sporting goods store. Big 5. Same thing here, man. Look at this. You have little 1, little 2, big 3, big 4, and then big 5. Man, I want to go to big 5. Let's get big 5. So there you go. It's basically the same thing here. So we have this and this. This and this. And then we want that big boy. Let's get that big boy. So there you go. All right, XLM, good times. But man, I can't get over how beautiful that three-way move. Look at that thing. It just looks perfect. You have an impulse, a nice three-way pullback. Let's freaking go. I am super bullish. I'm actually kind of more bullish now than I was back when we were getting rejected, because look how many weeks we were getting rejected. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? And then we just had to flush the low, grab that buy volume, and now let's hopefully bring it up. So basically the only way I'm going to be 100% bullish is if we break this right here. If we can break that zone, I'll be very bullish. But right now I'm still skeptical because it did rattle a lot of feathers. So we'll see how it plays out. Algo. Same thing with Algo. You know, this could be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1 or an A, and then you have a 2 or a B, right? And then you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or a C. Or no, I'm sorry. No. So that would be 1, 2, and this would be also a 1, 2, and then we would go up and hit 3, 4, and then 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, or it could be 5 as well. But the problem is this wave didn't clear this wave, so it's kind of overlapping. So maybe it's a diagonal. We'll have to see. But all in all, it looks pretty good. If we go to the daily chart, let's turn on this sequential here. There's nothing really I can say about the sequential because unless you're looking at the complete small time frames. Yeah, so nothing really there. 6-hour chart, no. 8-hour chart. Yeah, the 8-hour chart was good. Look at that big 8 though. Anytime you have a big 8, that's a hammer. That's a bullish hammer 8. And it looks pretty good. So I'm still in my positions. I'm still in my long. So the first long would be Filecoin at 292. I think we already looked at this. I don't need to go back through it, but ADA, I was able to snag it at 65. So if we go to ADA for just a moment, you can kind of see it's a little bit bearish, right? So 65, that's what I said, right? 65. So I got in right around there. Not too bad. I wish I got in a lot lower. I mean, this was the money right here. So, yeah, I wish I got a little bit lower, but essentially we have 3 up, and now it looks like we're getting 3 down. Probably is going to go right back to my entry. So, yeah. I was asleep when we were up here, so I didn't get out over there, or maybe it was over here. I'm not sure, but anyways, we will have 3 up, 3 down. I want to see 5 up, or let's oscillate, range, and then go. Filecoin, same thing with Filecoin. Yeah, so I think that pretty much covers everything. Let's look at Ethereum. Ethereum was just a straight rock down. You see that? We had, and it was looking really good, right? So the thesis is you have 3 down, 3 up, and then 3 back down, and then you had a 1, and then you flagged out for a 2, but then when you attempted to go in wave 3, look what happened. You got violently rejected. That's why you have to basically just watch the chart 24/7, you know what I mean? Which is impossible, but you can see, right? 3 down, 3 up, and then 3 back down. So there's your 3-wave move. It looked bullish. We had a wave 1. We flagged out for a wave 2. We had a 1, 2. Let's go for 3, 4, and 5, but we got rejected right here. And look at that. We had a 6-hour 9 sell. perfectly that told you, hey, get the hell out. And then free fall after that. So, and then look at this, guys. We had a 9 sell called the exact top pretty much. And then you had a 9 buy, which also called the bottom pretty well. So what do I think now? Well, look at the 2-day chart. The 2-day chart called the top perfectly here. And then also you have a 9 buy that called, you know, around the bottom. It's not going to be perfect. It never is perfect. But essentially what we have, in my opinion, is that was a capitulation, right? So we had 3, 3, and 3. So it basically became more complex, right? So what's going on? Oh, you know what? I haven't even looked at the bull market support band. So this is going to be the issue because I haven't even referenced this yet. The bull market support band is going to be the big thing to get back above, right? So A, B, C, or W, X, Y. You could see the bull market support band is going to start coming down. We're going to start ranging like this. We'll probably break out. It's going to flip up. We'll probably back test it and then continue higher. Hopefully it doesn't take too long. We'll see. Let me look at XRP's bull market. Oh, snap. I didn't even know. See, I didn't even notice that. I have not looked at the bull market support band nor TD Sequential probably in the last 3 or 4 days. So I had no idea that happened. But wow, look at this, guys. This is phenomenal. All the OGs know. I used to use the bull market support band for everything. I haven't looked at it because we've been so far away from the bull market support band. I mean, look at this. XRP hasn't tested the bull market support band going back from November, right? Back over here, I made a video saying, yeah, we're back above it. And then we flew up. We had this big expanded flat. And look at that. We perfectly nailed the bull market support band. Pretty impressive. So, wow, I did not know that at all. That is insane to me. All right, let me look a little bit closer. Did it show up on here? Yeah, it did. Look at that. That's insane. Look at that. It perfectly nailed, perfectly went right into the band, the bull market support, right? They call it the support band because look what happened. It came in and it supported the price. So if you, this is why this is one of my favorite indicators that I totally forgot existed. But yeah, TD Sequential, bull market support band, very important. You also have the RSI, viciously oversold. Let me look at the daily. I haven't even looked at this yet, really. It's not that bad. The 8-hour, definitely pretty vicious there. But then we also had hidden bullish divergence somewhere here. You can see from here up and then from here down. There's your hidden bull. So, wow, I did not know that. All right, let's look at the others. I know Theta is going to be a disaster. Yeah, Theta is a disaster. You can see right here we were supporting the price, broke below it. So one, you know, it's got to roll down. It's got to come up, create a base. It's got to break above it. It's got to back test it, then continue higher. What about Monero? Because Monero should be right. Oh, look at Monero. Monero barely made it. It was so bullish that it didn't even hit it. Like, that's how bullish it was. But look at Monero, man. Think of it like a snake, and it's coiling. It's a boa constrictor, and it's coiling around its prey, and it's squeezing and squeezing, and then bam, you know? So, what about Litecoin? Is Litecoin on the bull market support band? I think, yeah. Oh, look at that. Perfectly. So what I would do, guys, is I would go through your charts and I would look at all the coins. If the coin is above the bull market support band, I would probably not financial advise, but I'd probably keep holding it. If it's below the bull market support band, I don't know. I mean, maybe swap it. I don't know. I'm not sure. And until it proves itself that it can get back above it, right? So let's see. Is Chainlink above it? Chainlink should have hit it. There it is. Yeah, it should have. Yeah, perfect. Look at that. We perfectly hit it there. Perfectly hit it there. Okay, let's check out Bitcoin now. So Bitcoin, that's the issue, is Bitcoin has not yet tested the bull market support band, right? So, you know, we broke above it, but we never came back down to retest it, which has always been the concern, right? So this is going to continue to do something like this, and then maybe we're going to finally hit it, test it, hold it, and then continue higher. If not, if we don't test it, we shoot back up and then we test it later on, you know? So, how about Algo? Algo should have hit it. Yep, there it is. Perfectly. Look at that, guys. That is super, super interesting how it perfectly caught that. And then you also have, you know, I could take this off and I can throw on the EMA ribbons. And you can see the EMA ribbons, to be fair, I should go to the weekly though. There we go. So the weekly chart, you can see the ribbons are holding. So this is another thing we can look at as well. So I don't want to just bore you with 3 up, 3 down, Elliott wave price action. I want to give you guys more in-depth analysis on other levels. But you can see the EMA ribbon here, very important indicator that I should show more on the channel. I just don't. But yeah, this could be setting up for a 3-way pullback down into here. So what about XRP? XRP, or let's see, Theta. See, Theta on the weekly chart has completely broken below all of them. So there's a lot of damage to this chart. But one thing is really good is that there's your trend line right there. So you have 3 up, right? And this could technically be 3 down in a big 3-way move, right? And then if we can hold a base in here, then we can get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to put out a Theta only video probably sometime this week. We'll see. But I'm going to give you all the necessary requirements for Theta to get back in the retracement levels, back up here around 8, 9, 10 bucks. So between $8 and $10, that's going to be the area to watch for. And then we also have, again, we looked at this trend line here. There we go. And we can take this off. I think a lot of times I don't like it because it clutters my chart. You also have the Lucid Star, and I know the Lucid Star has completely broke it down. All right. So, if this is going to be 3 up and this is going to be 3 down, then what comes next? We want to see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then once we get up here, we're going to probably flag out for a while and then eventually break out, right? But that's not until maybe 2026, you know what I mean? So I don't know. It's a tough one right now. One thing I will say is once we break above 324, that's going to be the hard part, is breaking above that. Once we break above that, it should be pretty easy because we'll have momentum on our side. So if we have this 3-way pullback, we need to coil in here and break out. Kind of looks like an ascending triangle, if you will, right? And the measured move of that ascending triangle is approximately oh, I messed it up. Dang it. Basically the all-time high. We'll just say that. Basically around that all-time high is that same little area there. Let me do it one more time. Just barely above the all-time high. So we'll just say the all-time high. There you go. So anyways, that'll do it for this video. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. I will come back with more updates later on, and we'll examine the price structure and we'll look and see what's going on. But other than that, everything's okay for now. I do expect a little bit more downside. But anyways, I'll catch you guys on the next one. Cheers.